Hey, welcome to the Brisbane Small Business Show. Look, our goal here is pretty simple. We want to help you make money, save money, and help you run a better business for a better life. So what we'd like to do is help really discover some of that hidden talent within Brisbane because we're small business. We don't always have that marketing budget that big business has. But today we've got on the show Mark Jones from Your Digital Solutions, who's going to help us overcome some of those challenges. Hey, Mark, how are you?
Hey, Kevin, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. Now, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and Your Digital Solutions, remembering that we've only got 10 minutes to cover everything?
Yeah, normally that's half the time required, but very quickly, we're a bit of a unique agency. Our experience lets us help people make sure they're feeling strong before we go to do things. And then, of course, we have a strong execution component to our agency. And we have a unique model called the FACT model, which is FACTS, and that's we help our clients focus, get awareness around how many of their clients know of them, the conversion rates that they're getting from those clients. We help them get traction and we help them scale. So we do all that based on the resources that the client has, and we're working a lot with small and medium-sized businesses across Brisbane, and we also have a number of clients in the States. But just leveraging our deep business and marketing knowledge, and then applying that with digital tools to help companies grow.
Fantastic. You know, I'm a big fan that what we do in small business should often replicate what's happening in big business, because they do kick our butts when it comes to revenue per person. So it's great to hear that you're doing that. Now, Dave Meikle from Echo Media, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
That's good. Now, tell us a little bit about Echo Media and yourself.
Yeah, sure. So Echo Media, we're a video production company. We work with all sorts of smaller businesses and medium-sized businesses, helping them with corporate video production and that kind of thing, and also helping people implement their videos into their marketing systems as well. So if they've got funnels or training, say they're a CEO or something like that, someone who's got a bit of knowledge that they need to share, we help them implement that knowledge and put it into some marketing systems for them.
Fantastic. Now, you guys are both members of the business portal that we've created in brisbanesmallbusiness.com.au. Yeah. Now, this is how this has come about. We actually were giving away some prizes recently. Dave, you won the prize of a business growth strategy workshop.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
I actually thought it was really good. When I saw
beforehand,
then I'll get to that. So beforehand, I just saw, I guess, the title, and it said marketing. I can't remember the exact title of it, but it was something to do with marketing. I thought, oh, gee, I know a lot about marketing. Is that going to be like relevant to me? And so, but then after going through the program with Mark and realizing what it was focused on, I found it extremely valuable, and yeah, looking forward to implementing all of the strategies that we came up with.
Fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about the program that you have, Mark, and what we've got there. It's about Growth Strategy Workshop, is what you called it. Is that still the name?
Mate, the name is irrelevant. Really what we're doing is strategy is really a function of who are you, what's your business offer, and who are your competitors when you go into market with that offering. Then you come back to customers. So what are customers looking for amongst that competitive set, and is the thing you're best at shining through? And so with Dave's business and his category, you know, a lot of us are smaller businesses, and the clients we work with have very strong ambitions to grow, and that sometimes means that it's a real David and Goliath kind of battle. And so the area we look for is, with limited resources, what can we achieve that helps our business grow at a far superior rate than the competitors? And so most of our time is spent getting the absolute most out of the resources we have, and that comes back to being focused and being very clear about what we offer and who we offer it to.
Excellent. So there are a couple of key points that went through, that you went through, and a couple of stages that you went through. So Dave, for you, what were some of the real benefits that you got out of this particular program?
Yeah, so when I arrived to meet with Mark, he basically had a whole bunch of stuff already ready. So he'd done some research on my website and some of the keywords that I was focusing on, that sort of thing. And so even by the time I got there was value there. And we just sort of went through and looked at some of the areas that I could be targeting better to target my ideal client, because I think it came out through the workshop that my website wasn't really targeting my ideal customer. And so we just came up with a bunch of ideas around that to improve the website, but also how can we improve it from a SEO and marketing perspective to make sure that I'm actually, I have a chance to actually run up against some of the bigger guys.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, for Mark, what was that? You did the research prior to Dave coming along. So, what was one thing that the first step that you felt where you could really help him?
Well, one of the first things I asked Dave to do was tell me who he felt his competitors were. And one of the answers we often get to that question is, I'm so unique, I have no competitors. Dave didn't go there, thankfully, but he gave me a list of sites that he would consider to be websites that a prospective customer may also visit. And what we're able to do with some of our tools is actually broaden that out and understand who your real competitive set is. So we're able to share some of that and then look at how well positioned he is to capture interest from those potential customers. So doing a little bit of work in SEO and using some of the other tools we have for market research, we could quickly see that there were a few key dominant players, but also they had a very soft underbelly. We saw that a number of these businesses were not strong at all. They may appear strong, but actually there were lots of angles that Dave could take to win customers right from under their noses. And in truth, they would never know they'd lost that prospect. So our job now is to support Dave as he looks to focus, and he's got the skills to do the work. So it's great that he's got the thinking now, and I can't wait to see how he executes that in his own business. And I can't wait to get the call when he starts winning some of the larger clients right from under the noses of these big competitors.
Yeah, and one of the things I'll add to that as well is I didn't know what I didn't know. So having someone with a different perspective, someone who's an expert in their field, to be able to give their expert perspective as well and help me to see outside the box of the things I just actually couldn't see myself because I'm so close to it. So I found that really super valuable as well.
Yeah, I always find that marketing is one of those things that's, you can be a really great marketer, but if you're looking at it from the inside out, it's really hard to be objective, and that is a really important thing. And of course, everyone brings something a little bit different to the table, and vastly different background. And Mark, with your team, everyone on your team has slightly different backgrounds and different skill sets and that sort of stuff. And so that's really exciting to know. So, that fresh set of eyes, that was really fantastic. What was the next thing that came up in the discussions that you had?
One thing I'll touch on with Dave's business that is true of many, when you speak with the proprietor, and I am those fresh eyes, so I really haven't I've got to done a bit of research, but I'm waiting to hear from the business owner, who are they and what do they think they're all about. It's really quite scary how often the thing the business owner sort of says they're about and the person they're after and what they tell me they're great at just does not come out of the website. As a person reading that website who really is only putting less than 1 minute, and that's even being generous, in trying to interpret a business through a website, it's just so critical that those key points really jump out at you as a visitor to the website, and in turn are projected clearly in the advertising. And so for me, Dave has all of the ingredients of being thought of and understood of as a great video production house, being able to do the job at any level for C-suite, any sort of level of care and concern you need in the video production. That just doesn't pop in his site clearly and simply. A clear proposition, well projected, and a simple focused website really is at the heart of a lot of the problems we try to fix for people.
Yeah, that's cool. Another theme that came through in the discussions that we had a little earlier was that, being small doesn't mean you can't win. And you talked about there were some large competitors in Dave's market, but he shouldn't really be scared. There was a bit of weakness there.
There really was. In fact, a lot of categories we see, we look at a metric called the SEO difficulties. So each keyword has its own marketplace. Dave's category, for a marketing-related category, was incredibly weak, actually. The competition has a lot of opportunity. And when we look at the concentration of terms, people outside that industry really only think about it in one or two ways. There actually were 5 key phrases that if I'm Dave, I simply have to win, and I have to train all of my efforts at winning on those 5 terms, and they are on average 5 times the searches for any other term. So we now identify those top 5 phrases, and each of them actually had pretty low competition. So I have a great deal of confidence that with a bit of focus, Dave will be moving up the search engine optimization and the sort of getting more organic traffic out of those terms. So picking your battles. You can't win on every front, but if you pick those 5 and you just go after them repeatedly, you'll start making ground on even the biggest competitor.
That's fantastic. And Dave, for you and the experience of going through that and identifying those 5 key terms, how was that for you?
Yeah, so I think the thing that I really loved about the whole process was discovering the fact that I can play up against the larger players in the market, because they actually do have quite a weak marketing strategy behind them for their websites. And so certainly very excited to start implementing a very long list of changes to the website, which I think, it may actually take me a little while to get through it all, but certainly chipping bits and pieces off here and there, just to sort of start playing with those terms and getting the website functional and up to scratch. So really looking forward to it. And I found that time with Mark to be not only just enlightening, but also just understanding that he knows what he's talking about as well. And I certainly have a lot of trust in the advice that he's given.
No, that's fantastic. One last piece of advice that you were talking about earlier, Mark, was to set ambitious goals. So tell us a little bit more about how you help your clients do that.
Well, I think that if we set unambitious goals, unfortunately, too often we meet them. And it's not until you set an ambitious goal that you start challenging yourself to genuinely change and genuinely introduce new strategies, new tactics, and new approaches to a business. I also think that ambitious goals are, they are also broken down into very achievable, chunked out subsets and sort of sub-targets. And so I think that we enjoy most and probably get the best results working with clients who want to grow certainly better than 10% per annum, but certainly those clients who can go 20% per annum. And the reason for that is that the opportunity is there. You still have to be smart about it, but we then find those businesses also put enough effort and budget enough time and money to really put their shoulder to the wheel and not just put a cursory effort in. And I think that's the key. Too many businesses are well underinvested in growing their business aggressively. And we see businesses spending less than 1% of turnover and attempting to grow their business quickly. And I think it's an absolute folly. To want to grow a business at 10% or better, you're having to put aside a substantial piece of your resources to do so. And that's not just advertising, that's salespeople, that's creating new products, doing R&D in your service delivery, creating excellent service experiences. It's all the way through the stack. And we love working with clients who are ready to do that, because then it gives us a place to really have the greatest impact, and that's extremely satisfying.
Yeah, and I was reading about Twitter when it was growing massively. The amount that it was spending on its growth, and even once it was a stable platform, it was still continuing to spend. I think it was something like 25 or 30% of its turnover to keep dominating. If big businesses are doing it and they're doing really well, why aren't we doing some of that? And of course, it does come down to we need to have a lifestyle. We need to create a lifestyle, and I fully appreciate that. But we need to be strategic about where our resources and where our financial resources are going so that we can absolutely grow our business. Dave, is there one last thing you'd like to say?
Oh, look, I think the only thing is if someone is sort of struggling with their website and they're not getting the kind of results, definitely have a chat to Mark, because like I said earlier, you just don't know what you don't know. And so having that fresh set of eyes to come and have a look over what you're currently doing and help you really target, okay, this is who your target is. So let's, change some things on the website and make sure that we're really hitting the correct messaging to attract the right customers for you.
That's very nice, Dave. Thanks for saying that, mate. Appreciate that.
And Mark, one last piece.
Yeah, I think Dave's investment now and his growth is really down to his own resources, and that's fine that they might not be massive. And we talk about big business, and I've run large corporates with 35 mil P&L. We had to find the money to do marketing. Just because you're big doesn't make it easy. But the rate of investment you make really is your return on learning. The rate at which you're able to spend is how fast you'll work out what works for you. And as long as you're learning at some rate. If you're doing nothing, then that's about as much as you'll learn. And it will not prepare your business for what's going to come next or where you'll be next. But making sure there's a dedicated piece of the money coming in is set aside to make sure you in a dedicated fashion are learning how to build your business, because that's why in big business as a marketing person, one of your KPIs is make sure you spend that budget. And small business doesn't have to do much to actually make that part of their mantra as well.
Absolutely, and I think this whole theory has been around for a little while. Aesop told a fable about the tortoise and the hare, and doing a little bit consistently is going to get you where you want to go much faster than short bursts of energy or short bursts of attention, and then sitting back and waiting for things to roll in. So thanks very much, both of you guys, for coming along today. I really do appreciate you giving me the time. Sorry about the confusion about the time.
Thank you. Thank you for all the work you do for Brisbane Small Business, mate. We just think what you're doing in the directory and the group is amazing. So thanks for all your efforts too. Very happy to support it.
Yeah, thanks for that. The directory is really going to be a business portal where there's going to be really high quality information available to small business owners, which is really fantastic. That's the thing I'm most excited about, that people can go in there, not just looking to buy, but looking to get really high quality information, and they're going to find it. Things like this interview will be up there within a few days. So that'll be fantastic. Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye now.